Welcome everyone to Coin New Yen Review channel. Before we dive into today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share so more people can discover us. Enjoy the show. My fiancée, the captain, carried a suitcase onto the plane. She said it was a gift from her childhood friend. She forbade me from touching it, but as the chief purser, I couldn't shake my unease. I secretly opened it to inspect. To my shock, I found a class A prohibited item hidden inside. I quickly turned it over to the authorities. I used my commendation to offset Liu Ryan's belongings. That's how I saved her career. But her childhood friend was arrested, detained, and sentenced. She didn't say a word. Yet in a later flight accident, she sabotaged my parachute. Fang Yuan, you're the one who pushed Kekong to train so hard. You deliberately eliminated him, and then framed him. Did you think that would make me fall for you? Keep dreaming. I'd never marry a petty man like you. As I plummeted from 10,000 meters, I opened my eyes to see her childhood friend bidding her farewell, and the suitcase in his hands. I silently stepped back. This time I won't save you. Sister Liu, per procedure, this suitcase needs to be registered for security. My crew member politely reminded her. Liu Ryan frowned. It's full of gifts from Kong. What could possibly be wrong? Put it under my name. No need to check, Kong chimed in, agreeing. I've been trained. I know the rules. These things are foolproof. The crew member gave a light chuckle, saying nothing, but she still wasn't convinced. Other crew members whispered nearby. Knows nothing, my foot. He failed training 3 times. In the end, didn't Brother Fang pull strings to exempt you from the exam? And you still flunked. Kyung's face collapsed instantly. Liu Ryan's expression darkened too. That's only because Fang Yuan deliberately targeted Kong. I should have requested a review long ago. Kong is so outstanding. How could he possibly fail? She turned sharply, glaring at me. She gritted her teeth. Look at the people under you. They dare mock Kong to my face. Who knows what they say behind his back? I kept my face expressionless. I just stared at her silently. Kekong stood to the side, putting on an innocent act. But his eyes carried a provocative glint. Ryan, is it you, the captain, who holds the power? Or the chief purser who's in charge? One see Brother Fang's presence is so strong. Your words don't seem to carry weight. Liu Ryan, hearing this, burned with rage. She kicked the boarding ladder. Her voice rose. So you're not letting me board? Fine, I won't fly today. My eyes twitched with frustration, but my mind flashed back to scenes from my past life. Back then, I feared her anger would disrupt the flight. I suppressed objections, checked her luggage after boarding, found prohibited items, yet worried about ruining her career. I used my commendation to offset the penalty and protected her captain's license. But in the end, what did I get? The moment I fell from 10,000 meters, the parachute she personally cut. How laughable. I lowered my gaze, my tone gentle. Liu Ryan is the captain. She naturally knows her limits. Since she says to put it under her name, we won't check it. Let her board. Seeing me relent, Kekyong's eyes gleamed. He immediately said, then I want to fly with Ryan. It's been so long since I was on a flight. Liu Ryan nodded in agreement. Her tone matter-of-fact. Kekong hasn't flown in almost a year. Let him experience this journey. That's against regulations. I finally looked up. My tone calm. Liu Ryan's face darkened instantly. She stared at me, her eyes brimming with undisguised anger and warning. What do you mean? She growled through gritted teeth. Don't you want to fly? Fine then, don't fly. None of you will. All grounded. The crew's faces paled. Someone wanted to speak up for me, but I stopped them with a glance. At that moment, the intercom crackled with the dispatcher's order: preparations complete. Crew, please get ready. Passengers will board soon. Liu Ryan snorted coldly. I don't care. It's just one missed flight. But don't expect to board my plane again. You'd better think it over. I suppressed my surging emotions. I said in a low voice, I understand. At the same time, I signaled my deputy with a glance. He understood. He nodded. Liu Ryan, since you're rushing to your doom, this time I won't save you. After boarding, Kekong was still causing trouble. Since training ended, I hadn't worn the controller's uniform again. He clung to Liu Ryan's arm, smiling brightly. Today, I want to wear it to feel the experience. Ryan, I'll serve you alone today. I frowned. We don't have spare uniforms. He pouted unrelenting. Don't think I don't know. I've been trained. There are spares. I shot back those spares. Uniforms are for official crew members, not for you to play dress up. Liu Ryan furrowed her brow. Her tone softened, defending him. He Kong isn't an outsider. Let him wear it, it won't hurt. I could no longer contain my anger. I cut in coldly. If he wants to wear it, fine. But if he wears the uniform he works, then hell push the meal cart. He Kong immediately scoffed. No way. I don't do that kind of menial serving work. You do it. I'm not a waiter. The crew's faces changed. Someone blurted out in anger. I raised my hand to gently stop them. I stood in place, holding them back. A fire burned in my chest, but my face remained calm. My heart sneered, keep acting. Let's see who laughs last when we land. Liu Ryan, relying on her captain's authority, placed He Kong in first class. What's the point of being a flight attendant? Of course, being a first-class passenger is better. You stay here and enjoy. Not long after the service bell rang, a crew member went over, then returned. Her face grim. Brother Fang, they specifically asked for you to go over. My heart sank. I already knew what was coming. Sure enough, it was He Kong. He sat smugly in his seat, wrapped in a blanket, a triumphant smirk on his lips. His tone lofty and nauseating. Now I'm the passenger. You're the servant. Naturally, you should serve me well. I suppressed my churning emotions. My tone steady. Hello, sir. What service do you need? He acted as if he'd heard a joke, fiddling with his feet, deliberately ordering, I don't want this blanket. Get me one in a different color, and a softer pillow. Also a toiletry kit. Isn't your last one the new version? I want to try it. For drinks, bring me 3 kinds. I want to compare them. I complied one by one, my face expressionless. But behind me I could feel my colleague's anger rising. He's deliberately picking a fight. Someone in the back cabin muttered curses. I still stopped them. Don't make a scene, remember who we are. Soon after, he ordered red wine. I brought the glass over, but he suddenly tilted his head, a sly smile on his lips. I heard first-class passengers can request the attendant to kneel. Is that true? A crew member behind me couldn't help but mutter a curse. He immediately played the victim, whining, is this your attitude? I'm going to complain about you. I've been trained. I know the rules. Too many complaints and you'll be grounded, right? I took a deep breath, forcing the anger down. My knees slowly bent. I half-knelt before him, holding the wine glass with both hands. My voice neither humble nor proud. My face still wearing a perfect professional smile. Of course, sir. Well, continue to serve you. He seemed to hear a delightful symphony, smiling as if he'd won a battle. His voice shrill and arrogant. During training, you always said I wasn't fit. Said I didn't meet standards. Now, I think you're quite fitting. He suddenly leaned closer, his eyes like knives, his mocking smile practically dripping with venom. A dog like you is only fit to kneel and serve me. My fingers tightened. I was about to speak, but he moved faster. Oops, my hand slipped. I apologize. Red wine splashed over my head, instantly soaking my hair. The uniform dripped from my forehead down my cheeks, like blood trickling line by line. Sticky cold. Humiliation pierced to the bone. I could no longer hold back, rushing to the bathroom with a band. The moment I shut the door, my hands were still trembling. In the mirror, my soaked uniform, and a face of utter disgrace. Outside, his mocking laughter cut through clearly, like nails driving into my eardrums. I emerged from the bathroom, my hair still dripping. Kekong was no longer in his seat. The crew's expressions varied, their gazes toward me complex. What happened? Is something wrong? I asked on alert. Then the co-pilot emerged from the cockpit, his face awkward. It's not a problem. It's that He Kong went in. The captain told me to step out. A crew member, indignant, muttered, Brother Fang, he's really not taking you seriously. You're slaving away for this flight. I clenched my palms tightly, hushing them in a low voice. Don't let someone like him disrupt our work. Taking a deep breath, I ordered everyone to their posts. The flight was only halfway through. We couldn't lose focus when meal service time came. I followed procedure, pushing the meal cart to the cockpit door. As I opened it, I heard laughter inside. Kekon, draped in the captain's jacket, posed in the co-pilot's seat for a photo. Seeing me, he grinned, waving Brother Fang. I know the rules. He'll let the co-pilot back soon. In just experiencing it, Liu Ryan leaned nearby, her gaze cold. Don't act so upright. Are you going to snitch to the higher-ups again? If you really want to marry me, stop being so petty. She stood and approached me, her voice low with mockery. Just behave. I won't mistreat you, but if you dare target He Kong like before, I won't let you off. I nearly smashed the meal tray on her head, almost blurting out, I'm done with this marriage. But reason held back my rage. This was a flight with hundreds of passengers. I couldn't let her affect so many people. I gritted my teeth. I understand. Liu Ryan smiled, satisfied. That's more like it. Since you get to keep an eye on the door, don't let anyone barge in. I stood at the cockpit door, my body rigid. From behind that door, whispers and an intimate air I couldn't block out stabbed into my heart like needles. My mind flashed to when we trained together at flight school. Back then, she sat in the training room, writing flight logs, sneaking smiles at me. Later, she became a captain, her eyes only on ambition and gain. I became a stumbling block to her freedom. I always thought she was just misled. Until today, I realized all that supposed goodness never belonged to me. I don't know how much time passed. The door finally opened. He Kyung's cheeks were flushed. As he stepped out, he struck a pose. Sorry, I'm going to the bathroom to freshen up. He brushed past me, carrying the air of a victor. I looked into the cockpit. Liu Ryan was buttoning up, her movements practiced. Her face showed no trace of shame, only the satisfaction of fulfilled desire. In endless pain, the plane finally landed smoothly. I stood at the cabin door overseeing the passenger disembarkation process. Kekong sauntered over. He flung his coat aside. A smug grin spread across his face, impossible to hide. I reached out to stop him. His expression darkened, his tone sharp. What are you doing? Targeting me again on purpose? I said emotionlessly, please wait. Sir, you can't disembark yet. Some matters need further verification. Kekong exploded. Who do you think you are? Been a flight attendant too long. You really think you're some big shot? His outburst drew attention. Passengers turned to stare. Liu Ryan emerged from the crowd. She sneered as she approached. I thought you'd finally wised up this time. Fang Yuan, looks like you still haven't given up. I repeated firmly, he can't leave the plane yet. Please cooperate. Liu Ryan's eyes turned icy. She stepped closer, her voice dripping with sarcasm. Don't act like you're in charge with that feather of authority. You're just a chief purser. What gives you the right to order me around? With me here, I'm the one in charge. You think you're worthy of challenging me? She reached to pull He Kong away. I stepped forward to block them, but she raised her hand and slapped me across the face. Don't push your luck. She growled, her face a storm of fury. All your little tricks, I'll report them once we land. Then your entire crew can forget about flying again. My cheek burned. Amid the ringing in my ears, I finally heard the sound of hurried footsteps at the cabin door. Several uniformed security officers and aviation inspectors strode in. The lead officer's expression was stern. He flashed his badge, cutting off Liu Ryan's tirade. He Kong, based on a real name report, you're suspected of carrying prohibited items. Please come with us immediately for investigation. He Kyung's face went pale. He froze in place. I don't know anything, he shouted shrilly. Panicking, he hid behind Liu Ryan. Liu Ryan shielded him, glaring at the officers. You've got the wrong person. What prohibited items? We're about to disembark. Can't this wait? Before she could finish, two security officers flanked He Kong, their movements swift and precise. They pinned his arms behind his back. With clean efficiency, Liu Ryan's face changed drastically. Her eyes widened. What are you doing? I'm the captain. That's right, you're the one we're after. The lead officer said coldly. You're suspected of transporting prohibited items, abandoning your post in the cockpit, endangering flight safety. You must come for investigation immediately. Impossible if been framed. Liu Ryan roared, struggling fiercely. I'm the head of the flight crew. I have credentials. You can't treat me like this. The inspector's expression remained cold. As the person in charge, you should know every instance of abandoning your post. Every rule violation is recorded and traceable by the airline, and a crew member has already cooperated with the investigation. Your seat and contact with the prohibited items have all been tracked. He waved his hand, take them away. Kong panicked, screaming as he lunged toward Liu Ryan. I don't know anything. I'm Ryan's boyfriend. She told me to bring that suitcase. I didn't touch it. The inspector raised an eyebrow. Whose boyfriend you are? We don't care who the suitcase belongs to. Well, find out. Take them all. The two were restrained, one on each side, struggling as they were dragged from the cabin. Outside, the security passage was already sealed. The corridor buzzed with commotion. Some passengers raised their phones to record, their voices filled with heated discussion. Is that woman the captain? I'd heard before about people like them, playing fast and loose. Thought it was just gossip. Didn't expect it to be true. Transporting prohibited items, abandoning the cockpit, endangering flight safety. They're playing with the lives of hundreds of us. If this hadn't been caught, people like her would keep flying. Does the airline condone this? Someone fumed. This is unforgivable. It must be handled publicly. Back in the cabin, the crew erupted. Someone whispered, so that suitcase really had something wrong. No wonder Sister Liu wouldn't let us touch it. Will we be implicated next? My deputy stepped forward. His tone firm. Stop speculating. Follow Brother Fang's lead. I stood in place, raising my hand. I gently brushed aside the hair crusted with dried wine. My gaze swept over the chaotic corridor. I slowly raised my head, my voice steady. All teams return to your posts for handover. That short command carried undeniable weight, instantly restoring order to the turbulent cabin. The crew nodded, moving calmly, returning to their positions. This flight had finally landed safely, and Liu Ryan, I can finally settle the score with you properly. With the airline's cooperation, the investigation team took them to a temporary holding room for preliminary questioning. Liu Ryan stubbornly insisted it was a misunderstanding. Someone framed me. Keqiang's hands trembled, but he forced a tearful voice. I don't know. I really don't know anything. The investigator reviewed the records. We received a real name report and confirmed the situation through flight logs and security footage. You can request a facetto-face confrontation if you wish. Liu Ryan sneered. Fine, let's have a confrontation. Let's see who's trying to frame me. The door opened. I walked in slowly. Their faces changed the moment they saw me. Liu Ryan shot to her feet. Rage blazed in her eyes. I knew it was you, Fang Yuan. From start to finish, you've had it out for Kong, always targeting him. And now you're dragging me down with him. Just because I didn't bend to your whims. You're using a report to threaten me. Have you no shame? I gave a faint smile. Is it a frame-up? An investigation will make it clear. Don't you trust evidence the most? Fine, Liu Ryan sneered, her eyes full of venom. If you can't find anything, what then? Just you wait. Once I'm out, I'll make sure to end our engagement. Before she could finish, I pulled a document from my bag, slamming it down in front of her. No need to wait, sign it now. My voice was calm, my gaze colder. This is the agreement. Our engagement is void. From now on, we owe each other nothing. Liu Ryan froze, stunned as if rooted to the spot, staring at the termination agreement. Speechless for a long moment. What did you say? I looked at her with a faint smile. When I don't comply, you threaten me. Did you think I had no one else to turn to? I just valued this relationship more than you did. But from today onward, I'm done caring. You don't even have the right to threaten me anymore. Liu Ryan's face alternated between pale and flushed. She opened her mouth, but Kong grabbed her arm first, sobbing loudly. Brother Fang, don't do this to Ryan over me. His eyes red, putting on a pitiful act. Ryan and I really have nothing. Nothing at all. We're just close because we grew up together. You misunderstood. This time it's my fault. That incident on the plane was an accident. My hand slipped. I understand if you're angry. Take it out on me. Don't make things hard for Ryan. I sneered, not getting a chance to respond. Liu Ryan's face darkened first. Kekong. Even now, you're still pushing me. You're truly vicious. Sign it. Then she grabbed the document, gritting her teeth. If wanted to dump you for ages. Living with a petty, vindictive man like you, I'd have to be insane. She picked up the pen and scribbled, signing her name on the paper. I glanced at her crooked handwriting, my lips curling into a genuine smile. The investigator glanced at them, his tone flat. The suitcase's footage has been retrieved. Please cooperate with the item inspection. Their previously defiant faces showed a brief flicker of relief. Liu Ryan sneered. Go ahead and check. I want to see how he plans to frame me. Kong muttered. Yeah, I packed that suitcase, but I didn't put anything in it. I stood silently to the side, watching quietly, because I knew the real show was yet to come. The suitcase was opened, revealing a pile of personal items. I raised an eyebrow. So these are the gifts you said were for her. Keong's face flushed, stammering. This is for Ryan. Her flights are exhausting. I just wanted to surprise her. I gave a cold laugh, my tone biting. Kekong, you really care for Captain Liu. Several investigating crew members couldn't help but snicker. Definitely within regulations. Well trained. Wonder if the captain was thrilled with the gifts. Keong's face showed embarrassment and reluctance, wanting to explain but unable to speak. The inspector frowned. Please sort and categorize these items. Photograph and archive them. The inspection continued. No clear prohibited items were found yet. Liu Ryan leaned back in her chair, regaining her earlier arrogance. Sneering. I told you it was a misunderstanding. You dragged me here. Once I'm cleared, you're all finished. Kong chimed in. Ryan has connections. You pull this stunt. Aren't you afraid your whole team will be sacked? Liu Ryan glared at me, her tone aggressive. Your crew's mental state is unfit. I'll file a report to ground your entire team and reassign you. You'll never fly again. The room grew tense. A flight attendant's face paled, clenching his fists. You're going too far. Liu Ryan sneered, scared now. Where was all that sarcasm earlier? Just wait. I remained calm, speaking softly. Why rush? The inspection isn't over. I walked to the suitcase and crouched down. From the pile of risk items I pinched a pair of thin, nearly transparent shorts with a peculiar cut, a clear interlayer in the crotch. I held it up, my tone calm but clear. Check this. Liu Ryan, legs crossed, sneered, speaking slowly, still trying to stir up trouble. Jealous are you? Keong's taste is better than yours. He knows how to shop. His build is sturdier than yours. If you're bitter, when I'm in a good mood, I'll get you one too. She leaned back in her chair, her face full of disdain. Kong beside her. His face changed in an instant. The lab report came back quickly. In the interlayer of those shorts, high concentration hallucinogenic powder was detected, capable of causing dependency through skin contact. A Class A aviation prohibited item. The inspector read the results coldly. In the meeting room, only Liu Ryan's ragged breathing could be heard. It's not mine. I didn't know that was in there. Liu Ryan finally broke down, her face flushed as she lunged forward. He put it in there. It was his idea, pointing at Kong, her voice nearly hysterical. Kong, meanwhile, had already adopted a pitiful, innocent look. I protested that it wasn't my idea but hers to prepare that surprise. She even told me not to let anyone know it was her request. I merely followed her instructions. The two of them traded sharp words, one after another. They tore away their masks, biting at each other like dogs refusing to let go. I stood silently to the side, observing, until their tempers flared beyond control, and they cast aside all dignity. Only then did I softly speak. So this is the extent of your so-called love. Liu Ryan was grounded on the spot. Both of them, implicated in drugs and smuggling contraband, became subjects of a criminal investigation, placed under criminal detention for review. Yet this farce was far from over. Soon Liu Ryan's family approached the airline, bypassing official channels to quietly exert pressure. A lawyer came to me, speaking with grandiose righteousness. I reported it only because I was emotional, didn't I? If I could just get the other crew members to stay quiet and agree to say one thing, that the suitcase was Hee Kyung's alone. The Liu family would be grateful. After all, I shared so many years of affection with Miss Liu. I wouldn't want to see her framed like this, would I? I glanced at him and calmly asked if he was teaching me to commit perjury. Is this your professional integrity? The lawyer froze. His smile stiffened for a moment. Aren't you letting emotions cloud your judgment? No, I'm addressing the facts, not the person. I stood brushing the creases from my uniform. But you're insulting my life. The lawyer left. Then the airline received pressure calls. To mitigate losses and clear the air, the company hastily convened an emergency meeting, putting out fires while settling accounts. I was summoned to the executive boardroom. Two options were laid before me. Either transfer to a ground crew position as an involved party, publicly commended but quietly sidelined, or be reassigned to a remote regional route, a disguised demotion in flight status. With no premium routes or promotion prospects, I listened and nodded. May I offer a personal statement? The airline executives exchanged glances. What do you want to say? I gave a slight smile and flipped my phone screen toward them. A trending post-flight attendant's real name report exposes airport smuggling for rival. A video from a passenger captured the scene. High-definition audio, high-definition footage. Every angle of the arrest recorded without a blind spot. The comment section exploded. Turns out that stunning guy is the chief purser. I'm a fan if the airline punishes him. Well, I'll file complaints if not for him. Would this even have been uncovered? I looked at the silent mid-level managers and softly asked, I'd like to clarify the truth. If you're worried about public opinion, I can speak fairly on the company's behalf. The room fell silent. After a long pause, someone grudgingly said, well, consider it carefully. I nodded with a smile. Then please make sure you consider it very carefully. On the third day after the storm broke, different voices began to emerge online. Some questioned, how did I know the suitcase was suspicious beforehand? Others suggested I might have set a trap. Why else would I alert authorities before takeoff? Facing these doubts, I didn't respond immediately. Instead, I requested the airline arrange a formal briefing. That day, I stood in my uniform before a projection screen in the meeting room and played the duty recording from that flight. This was before takeoff, when we raised concerns about inspecting special luggage. The on-site recording played clearly. The suitcase was a gift from Hee Kyung, registered under my name. Didn't touch it. But it's a special package. It requires immediate inspection. I said it was fine. If the flight's delayed, are you responsible? I raised my head, my tone steady and firm. Before takeoff, the crew had reasonable suspicions about the luggage, but it had already passed security without clear evidence of wrongdoing. As the chief purser, I had to balance flight operations and maintain calm at the scene, given the captain's unstable emotions. And with passengers already seated, a confrontation at the cabin door could have delayed the flight or caused unrest. So I chose not to forcibly intervene and monitored the luggage throughout the flight, ensuring no one touched it during transit. Its position remained unchanged, awaiting processing upon landing. Everything that followed was fully documented. Airport dispatch and law enforcement were on site. The airline representative nodded in confirmation, then played the official terminal footage. The investigation confirmed the luggage belonged to Hee Kyung. The contents were his personal items. Hee Kyung confessed he prepared the suitcase with personal intent, using the gift to manipulate Liu Ryan to establish a relationship after ending her engagement. The suitcase hid hypotensive sedative powder, concealed in the crotch of men's underwear, classified as an aviation-prohibited item. The report's conclusion was concise and direct. Hee Kyung, for trafficking hypotensive sedative powder and carrying prohibited aviation items disrupting flight order, was criminally detained and handed over to judicial authorities, ultimately sentenced to 23 years and 8 months in prison. Liu Ryan, though not directly involved in smuggling, abandoned her post during the flight, allowed unauthorized personnel into the cockpit, and interfered with crew inspection procedures. Under civil aviation law and airline regulations, her license was revoked, and she was permanently banned from flying. The entire crew was exonerated and commended. Among them, I was recognized for upholding protocol and strategy, and listed for priority promotion within the company. The room fell silent. I swept my gaze across the room and said only one thing I didn't know in advance. I had to know. That was my responsibility as chief purser. The next day, as I left the flight simulator room, someone knocked on the office door. "Brother Fang, someone's looking for you," they said. I looked up, and through the glass saw a familiar haggard figure. Liu Ryan. She looked more worn than the last time we met. Her face carried exhaustion and urgency, yet she still stood tall. But those eyes still held that old, unyielding confidence. I didn't move, but she walked in as if it were her own home, rushing toward me in a few quick steps. "Fang Yuan," she said softly, "am here to apologize." I didn't respond. She saw I neither rejected nor spoke, and continued as if to herself, "I know you hate me. I hate myself too." Back then he clouded my judgment. I didn't think those things through. He might have used drugs and drove a wedge between us. I didn't mean it. Really, she stepped closer, her voice softening with that familiar tenderness and plea. "Fang Yuan, I finally understand now. The one I truly want to walk with is you. It's always been you." I finally spoke, my tone flat as water. "Please leave. I have work to do." But she acted as if she hadn't heard, stepping closer still. "I know you're angry right now. I don't expect you to forgive me immediately. You can take your time to think it over. I've already spoken to my family. They can get you transferred to a premium route, to the first-class crew, with better pay and routes." I gave a faint smile, my gaze turning cold. "No thanks. I rely on myself. I've already been assigned to the international flight crew. I don't need your so-called help." I stepped around her, walked to the locker, and pulled my uniform jacket on with a sharp motion, heading for the door. "All right," I said, pushing it open. "I'm heading out." She stood frozen in place, as if unable to accept that I turned away. I gave her no further chance. After a 2-day, 1-night flight, the plane returned, landing smoothly. I led the crew off the aircraft, completing the handover with ease. Just as we exited the terminal, the deputy purser whispered, "Brother Fang, that looks like Captain Liu." He paused, quickly correcting himself. "No, Liu Ryan." I followed his gaze through the crowd. She stood alone at the exit, holding a bouquet of lily, her face pale but standing straight. I halted, not immediately approaching. Memories flooded my mind in an instant. Those years I accompanied her on the toughest long-haul flights. It was I who brewed her ginger tea in the dead of night, stayed up with her to file flight reports. It was I who wrote her reflection reports during her lowest moments. I who shouldered the airline's pressure alone to save her position. So many times I stood at terminal exits, watching other girls pick up their boyfriends, while she never showed. I always told myself she was too busy, that she wasn't good at expressing herself, that she didn't not care about me. I made excuses for her time and again, and now she finally stood at the exit, holding flowers in her hands. But I no longer needed it. Later, Liu Ryan tried contacting me, at first through texts and emails, then voicemails and handwritten letters. I opened those messages. Their contents were much the same. "I'm sorry, I was wrong. He deceived me. I couldn't see my own heart clearly. Do you remember our first night flight? You secretly sketched flight routes for me in the cabin's tail, saying one day you'd fly with me across the world. I read them but felt no urge to reply. Gradually, I stopped even opening them, swiping past the subject lines to delete. Eventually, the messages stopped. That year, I turned 30. After landing in Paris from a cross-continental flight, I received my promotion to chief purser. Yet I wanted to pause, not to abandon flying, but to leave opportunities for younger dreamers like I once was. I applied for a transfer, moving to the airline's training division, becoming a mentor for new recruits. That day, I stood at the classroom podium, lecturing a group of fresh airline trainees on flight safety and mental resilience. Never fear rejecting unreasonable orders. Never let personal ties override standards. Any compromise to protocol could one day cost lives. A student raised a hand, interrupting Teacher Fang. "Have you seen the news? I froze as everyone began checking their phones. A breaking news alert flashed on the screen. Urgent report. A woman hid in a departing flight's landing gear, falling from mid-air, dead on impact. Witnesses said she exhibited erratic behavior at the terminal earlier, showing signs of mental instability. As her identity was investigated, a video clip played. In the darkness of night, flashing police lights at the scene. I had no intention of looking closely, but in the moment the camera panned, I noticed on her left ring finger a ring so familiar I could never forget. It was the platinum engagement ring I'd custom-made for Liu Ryan at 20 for saving a year's salary to buy it. Back then I thought, this love would soar far so far. The classroom buzzed with discussion. Someone said, why would a crazy person climb into the landing gear? Wasn't she afraid of dying? People like that have no reason. I said nothing, only pressed down. The stirring emotions. There was no shock, no sudden realization, just the feeling of snow falling to the ground, melting away, gone. She and I, dust to dust, earth to earth. The storm cleared at last, each of us to our own horizon.